Good afternoon, everyone. We are Group 17B, and we are here to give our final presentation on our Adderall Abuse Awareness Program. The main goal of our program is to decrease the abuse of illicit Adderall by 75% among college students living on campus at San Diego State University who participate in our program. We will achieve this by having information seminars, guest speaker presentations on the dangers of Adderall abuse, and how they change their lives. We will also teach healthy and effective alternatives to Adderall use in the form of support groups, yoga and meditation relaxation techniques, as well as providing school activities for positive reinforcement during midterms and finals. The priority population in our program are SDSU students between the ages of 18 to 23 who are living in on-campus dormitories. The dormitories included in this experiment are Olmeca, Chapultepec, Cuicacali, and University Towers.
In our evaluation process, we'll be measuring the difference in the Adderall alternative use between the experimental group and the control group. In the beginning of our program, we will ask our participants to answer a questionnaire about the knowledge they have about Adderall and what they feel that it does to our bodies. We will also ask their attitude about the drug and how they get a hold of their meds and also their current behaviors. During the program throughout the semester, we will be conducting seminars, having presentations, also invite guest speakers to talk about the prescription drug, how it affected their lives, and what they did to change. We will also offer support groups on and off campus. We will also conduct random phone surveys to see if they're applying our methods at home, and lastly, conducting drug tests to make sure that our participants are keeping clean and abiding by our program policies. Lastly, at the end of our intervention, we will ask our students to participate in a questionnaire to see the effectiveness of our treatment program. We will ask them which method most effectively worked for them. This evaluation will allow us to make comparisons between the experimental group and the control group and to see if our program actually works.
The conceptual model for our program is the health belief model. The impact on health outcomes that we plan to measure is how much we reduce the number of students taking Adderall, our success in promoting better study habits, and lastly, how much we encouraged our participants to practice safer and healthier drug-free alternatives.
Our research design will follow an experimental pre-test, post-test design. Students living in Chapultepec and Cuicacali were randomly assigned as a control group, and they will not be undergoing the intervention program. Students living in Olmeca and University Towers were randomly assigned to the experimental group.
We will be conducting a simple random sampling. Our program will be testing SDSU students who live on campus between the ages of 18 to 23. Our sampling frame will be from 4 dorms. There will be Chapultepec, Cuicacali, Olmeca, and University Towers, 2 of which will be Fishbowl to be the control group, and the remaining 2 will be the experimental group.
The measurement instruments used in this program will be in the form of follow-up phone surveys on drug habits, questionnaires on the effectiveness of our provided alternatives, and random drug tests to ensure that their responses are credible. The independent variable is the participant in the program. The dependent variable is whether these participants were able to find successful alternatives to Adderall use. Since both of these are nominal levels of measurement, a chi-square statistical analysis test will be used.
The pie chart shows that based on a sample of 2,800 SDSU students, it was found that 2,500 successfully changed their behavior, whereas 300 of them did not. This was to be expected because students have become more aware of the choices they are making. Next, we have more data to exemplify variations amongst the control and experimental groups. The first bar chart illustrates the control groups using Adderall. When comparing all 4 classes, we found that freshmen reported the least in using, then sophomores, juniors, and seniors followed, being most likely to use Adderall over time. Moving on to the bar chart on the right, you will see the data comparing participants with each other in the study. It was found that the control group had a steady rise in change, whereas the experimental group had the most constant and consistent change. Lastly, if you look below, we present a randomized drug test that was administered over the course of the fall semester. It was found that the experimental group had lower numbers over the course of the semester, whereas the control group resulted in the exact opposite. Students were more susceptible to using towards the middle and end of the semester because of midterms and finals. Our findings show that we were able to meet our main goal, which was to decrease the use of Adderall amongst SCSU students between ages 18 to 23 who do not have a legal prescription. Second, we wanted to increase the use of our alternative methods, such as attending seminars regularly throughout the semester, watching presentations, listening to the guest speakers, attending our support group meetings, and lastly, performing mandatory drug tests. We found that throughout the semester, our phone surveys, random drug tests, and support groups were more effective than those who participated in seminars and presentations alone.
The limitations to our program are as follows. The measurement instruments that we use are susceptible to response bias, specifically social desirability bias, in which participants may lie about their drug habits while undergoing the program. All of the dorms and other on-campus housing options were not included for this pilot program due to budget restrictions. Lastly, our program mainly focused on Adderall use as a study drug rather than a party drug, which is also a common reason for its misuse. In conclusion, our program focused on the well-being of SCSU students that were at risk for illicit Adderall use or were already using the drug. Out of our sample of 2,800 STSU students, 89% found successful alternatives to Adderall use. The data we collected shows that the Adderall abuse awareness program that we implemented was overall very effective. In future endeavors, we hope to expand and break free from our limitations in order to provide the best program possible for Adderall abuse. We would like to thank you for your time on viewing our program presentation. Remember, with finals around the corner, Adderall is not the answer, unless you have a prescription from a credible primary care physician. Have a good evening, and we'll see you at graduation.